Okay, if you've ever dealt with truly massive data sets, you know the biggest challenge is speed, right? Well, today we're diving into Spark SQL, a tool that has absolutely revolutionized big data processing. So let's get into what makes it so incredibly powerful.
Here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the old way of doing things and why it was such a bottleneck. Then, we'll introduce Spark SQL as the faster engine it is. We'll peek under the hood to see how it works, explore its amazing ability to connect to all kinds of data, and finally, check out some real-world examples that show just how much of a game changer this is. So let's set the stage. Before tools like Spark SQL came along, we had a serious problem. Our data was growing exponentially. We're talking petabytes of information. But our tools, well, they just couldn't keep up. The whole process was slow, clunky, and forget about doing anything interactive. But you have to ask, why? What was the actual roadblock here? Why did asking even a simple question of your data feel like it took forever? Well, a big part of the answer was a tool called Apache Hive. Now, Hive was groundbreaking for its time, but it was built on a foundation called MapReduce, which was just notoriously slow. See, it was designed for these huge overnight batch jobs where you'd kick something off and come back the next day for the answer. That just doesn't work for modern needs, where you need speed, you need real-time answers, you need flexibility. And that's where our hero, Spark SQL, enters the picture. It wasn't just an improvement, it was a complete redesign from the ground up, built specifically to crush those old limitations and bring real, interactive speed to the world of big data. So what is it exactly? At its heart, Spark SQL is a special module inside the bigger Apache Spark framework. It's laser-focused on handling structured data. And its secret weapon? It leverages Spark's ability to do all its heavy lifting in memory. This is a huge deal. It avoids the constant, slow process of reading and writing to a hard disk that bogged down the old systems. And the results are just staggering. We're not talking about a tiny 10% improvement here. A query that would have taken you a whole 10 minutes to run on Hive, well, with Spark SQL, you could have that answer back in under a minute. For a data analyst, that's not just better, that completely changes how you work. So, how in the world does Spark SQL pull off this incredible speed? Well, it's not just one magic trick. It's really a combination of three brilliant ideas working together. Let's break them down. First up, we have something called data frames. And honestly, if you've ever used a spreadsheet or seen a database table, you already get the concept. It's just a clean, simple way to organize data into rows and columns. But here's the key. This isn't just one spreadsheet. It's a distributed collection, meaning it's spread across a whole cluster of computers, all working together. Next, you've got the Catalyst Optimizer. This is the real brains of the whole operation. Before Spark even touches your data, Catalyst looks at your query and figures out the absolute smartest, most efficient way to get you the answer. Think of it like a GPS that calculates the fastest route, avoiding all the traffic jams and roadblocks along the way. And this process is just brilliant. Catalyst takes your simple SQL query, turns it into a basic logical plan, and then it starts optimizing. It applies all these smart rules to shuffle things around, find shortcuts, and just make the plan better and better. Only after all that optimization does it create the final physical plan that the computers will actually run. It makes sure not a single CPU cycle is wasted. And finally, once that super efficient plan is ready, it's handed off to the Tungsten execution engine. If Catalyst is the brains, Tungsten is the muscle. This thing is all about raw performance. It uses some really advanced techniques to write highly optimized code on the fly, getting as close to the bare metal as possible. It squeezes every last drop of performance out of your hardware. But speed is only half the story. The other superpower that Spark SQL has is its unbelievable versatility. It can basically act as a universal translator for almost any kind of data you can throw at it. And I mean, just look at this list. It doesn't matter where your data lives, whether it's in JSON files, CSVs, super efficient formats like Parquet, or even locked away in old-school databases or a Hive warehouse. Spark SQL doesn't care. It gives you one single, simple way to query all of it. For developers, that is a massive, massive simplification. And this right here, this is huge for companies that have been around for a while. It means you don't have to throw away and rewrite years of existing Hive queries. You can literally just point Spark SQL at your old setup and run the exact same queries. But now, they're running with the incredible speed of Spark. It's like getting an instant engine upgrade for your old system. So, you've got this insane speed and this incredible flexibility. what are people actually doing with it? Let's take a look at how Spark SQL is making a real impact out there in the world.
The use cases are just everywhere. Think about it. Banks can now spot fraud as it's happening, in real time, not a day later. Business intelligence dashboards that used to take minutes to load are now instantaneous. And for data scientists, it speeds up their entire workflow, from cleaning the data to actually training their machine learning models. It's a fundamental shift. And that really brings us to the most important point of all. Spark SQL doesn't just make old tasks faster, it lets you ask entirely new kinds of questions. When you can get answers in seconds instead of hours, it fundamentally changes how you think about your data and what you believe is possible. So I'll just leave you with this thought. With data this fast, what new questions would you ask?